remember the excitement when you first graduated, when you first bought that business or you started your podiatry business, how pumped and excited you were to get in there, make all the changes, change the world, make this incredibly spectacular practice. The momentum got into it, everything seemed to flow. Then all of a sudden, one day you kind of realise, I'm actually just working all day, every day, treating patients, 7 to 6, and you didn't have time to run the business. At nights, weekends, you were doing basses, the books, paying bills, all these sorts of things, and you kind of thought, this isn't how it was meant to be. It's meant to be easier. Look, my name's Troy Parsons. I'm one of the co-founders of the Podiatry Hive. I've got my own practice up here in Toowoomba. I've been here 13 years. I had a conversation with a friend one day who was a health professional, and I was explaining to him my story and where I was at and the frustration I was going through, and this smile creased his face. And I was filthy. I'm thinking, what are you smiling about? And then he just kind of nodded and said, look, I know someone who can help you.
Having met with Troy the very first time and seeing the level of stress that he was experiencing and feeling for himself, understanding a lot about what was going on for him in his practice, it wasn't a lot, and it isn't a lot different, and I'm sure you're feeling the same yourselves, in terms of that we're actually very good at what we do. As a technician, as a podiatrist, we're actually really good, and we treat our patients to the best of our abilities with the right level of due care.
I was a good podiatrist, and but I wasn't taught at uni how to run a business. I think we did one subject, and I went and watched some other bloke run a practice and went, righto, I know how to run a business now. I didn't. I got to a stage where I seriously started to realise that this isn't what I thought it was going to be. When I was an employee, I left at the end of the day, I didn't have anything to worry about. I got my 4 weeks a year, pay just showed up my account. What I found was, as soon as I started working and having my own business, I was working harder than I ever did. Now, if I was actually probably brutally honest, I was probably making less money than when I was an employee. So I started really questioning, like, what am I doing? Then over time, we started to grow. So I started to have more staff, and with that became more stress and strain. I remember over time that this once bubbly, energetic passion that I had for the business, it just went. I started to become very bitter, negative. There's some times where I didn't want to get out of bed. I seriously questioned, why was I doing what I was doing? I was so just frustrated because it wasn't who I was. It wasn't what I planned. I had so many great ideas I wanted to implement, and I just couldn't. One year just led to another. I was just doing the same thing all the time. I just didn't have the time. I just did not have the time, or even I didn't know where to start to make any changes. And a number of times I thought about just shutting the door, walking out. Couldn't do that because I paid too much money. So I thought, right, maybe I'll sell it. But when I was actually analytical about it, I had nothing to sell. I didn't have an asset. I had this business built around me. Who wants to buy that? They were set up down the street. So I could not see a way out, and I felt like a failure. I was failing myself. I was failing my staff, and ultimately, I was failing my patients because I wasn't showing up. I was so busy trying to run this business that you didn't allocate the time and the energy and the compassion that you should be as a practitioner. And I knew I needed help.
One of the things that confronts you as a podiatrist in your business is all of these other issues that start to come in and hound you. So, if you're employing staff, for example, you may well be having issues around your people, managing the finances, the cash flow, dealing with suppliers, and all of these sort of things are real. But unfortunately, we're not really taught that well.
So basically, Greg taught me the things I wasn't taught at uni. Now, over this 4 to 5 year journey, the change has just been incredible. To actually think back to where we've come from, it's quite humbling, to be honest. Like, I think when we started, we had 2 podiatrists, maybe 2 admin. Now we have 10 podiatrists, 20 staff in all, and 17 different sites. Our turnover's probably quadrupled, and we've got a very, very significant practice now that isn't built around me. Recently I'd cut back to 2 days a week treating, 1 day a week treating, and now I'm not treating much at all. I'm actually spending time working on my business, mentoring my young staff, implementing training for my young staff, doing the things I dreamt of doing Like, I love being a podiatrist, but I love being able to make a difference with the young podiatrists coming into my practice, creating opportunities for people to get a career.
Where we see the opportunity is in actually now providing some of that help. And one of the things that I talk a lot about with people is understanding our why. And unless we understand that, it's very, very hard for us to really get and develop our passion or reignite our passion. When you first went into podiatry, you probably did have, and certainly when you graduated you would have had, a high deal of excitement about what you're about to embark on with your career. So there was a very solid level of passion. It was really closely related with your own why. And what I find through time is that sometimes when all of these day-to-day operational matters start to crowd in on us, it's very easy to lose sight of what that why is. And it's important that we start to reconnect back with understanding what our why is. We're at the Podiatry Hive, for example, we have a big why. Our big why is that we really want to raise the level of podiatry in Australia. We see it as a fledgling or an early stage profession. Certainly we haven't got the profile yet of some of the other industries like perhaps our medical friends, other medical industries. So we are very keen to raise the bar for podiatry in Australia, and we think there's a big opportunity for us to do that, and that's our passion. That's what we exist for.
Look, it pains me to see others going through what I did, because, you know, where I was, because there's help out there. Now, we spend all our days helping patients, helping clients to come into our rooms, but who's helping us in the profession to actually help run a successful, profitable business? Who's helping us, you know, basically plan and implement strategies that we don't always have to trade time for money? Now, this is one of the key motivations to why we created the Hive. I just feel there's a desperate need out there to help the private practices and help the profession as a whole. I am particularly motivated to lift the bar, raise the bar, if you will, of podiatry in Australia. Look, it's very much in its infancy when you compare it to, you know, our other allies and, you know, medicos. And I see a huge potential if we can work together to strengthen the private industry, and the repercussions for the profession will be massive. You know, I want to basically create an attractive proposition where, you know, people are fighting to come join podiatry. I want to be able to enter a room and everyone in that room knows what a podiatrist is. Now, you go into a room of 100 people, put up your hand if you know what a dentist is. Everyone puts their hand up. You know, you go into a room and ask, what does a podiatrist do? You know, half the hands go up and half of them think we just deal with kids. You know, there's a huge gap and a huge opportunity for us to work together and strengthen the profession. And that's where the motivation for the Hive comes from. So specifically, in the Podiatry Hive, we help podiatrists make more money, reduce their hours, gain clarity around where they want to go with their lives and their businesses, get more fulfillment in what they do. Where we've gained a lot of clarity ourselves around what podiatrists need and want is that many people don't know where to start. And that's why we've put together a DVD and workbook. Will basically guide you through the process of get the changes started in your own business. Now, this is our gift to you as part of signing up for a 1-month trial with the Podiatry Hive. It's something that is directly applicable. You devote the time to it and you can implement it straight away and see the benefits immediately. So we invite you to trial it, get the free gift, you've got nothing to lose.